after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid.
Alright, so everyone did this as a kid, right? You're in a store and you see the vending machines. Ooh, you want that drink or that candy bar. It's a highlight in a young kid's day. There's staples in communities everywhere, too. Lifelong family friends and friends of the podcast are here for you. Gymnasiums, rec centers, playgrounds, wherever. KL&P Vending Inc. Family owned, family run. Come to us when you need your vending done. That's where the Gamertime podcast is going. Call them, 717-371-3350. That's KL&P Vending Inc. Alright people, this is the Gamertime podcast episode 3. We are back, better than ever. Well, not so much. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm going to hand it off to Big Al to take control of this one. Big Al, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, Matthew. And we're glad you're back with us, people. And we're just gonna keep doing this, providing for you guys, as much as we can. And it just, especially during football season, it's gonna be great. So just keep hanging with us.
All right. So what do you got, man?
Yeah. So today, obviously we got a little bit of hockey shockers, as you may put it.
Ooh.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, the best team in the East all season, just got swept.
Wow.
By the Columbus Blue Jackets.
That's insane. 60+ wins.
Yeah, it's like why did they even play the season if that was going to happen? I don't know how they couldn't even get one win out of that.
Yeah, that's unreal.
And the Penguins also got swept, which is another shocker. And so the East right now is coming up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean the Crosby haters got to be loving that one.
Oh yes, I believe that. And like I said, I still thought they were more of the favorite team, but I don't know what's with this Islanders team. They seem to come to play.
Yeah, definitely.
In the West, we have the number 1 seed Calgary Flames being down 3-1.
The 8 seeds are taking over.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. At first I thought the Sharks, originally in the Week 1 podcast, I said the Sharks, but they're down 3-1 to Vegas. So this hockey season is wide open right now.
Yeah, definitely. I saw Mr. Ovechkin knock out a teenager. Did you see that one?
I did. That was pretty brutal, and I know hockey's a rough sport, but it just, everyone, whatever happened, he was mad, and they went at it.
Yeah, definitely. So I heard the NFL schedule for 2019 is being released. Super pumped about a couple of the Broncos ones. They've got the second toughest schedule in the NFL though for 2019, but they do open the season for the last game in Week 1, which is the 10 o'clock Monday Night Football game on ESPN. It's a primetime game that I'm not going to be able to watch because I get up early, but it's definitely nice to see them on Monday Night Football.
Right? Are they? That's one of the West games. Are they playing the Raiders?
Yeah, that's right, in Oakland.
Wow, that's Antonio Brown's debut, and just I think your defense can shut them down pretty well.
Yeah, we're going to have a pretty good defense. I mean, it's hard to kind of predict what's going to happen next year. We're a week away from the draft, so a lot of people are excited about that, but that plays a big factor in who's going to be a breakout rookie, who's going to, turn a team's success from. Is Kyler Murray going to freaking jack the Cardinals up into playoff contention? I don't see it, but, you never know what can happen, especially with the draft.
Right, that's if they go with him. I mean, we're still not 100% sure on that yet, but,
right.
I that some of the things that pointed out to me was the Browns have four primetime games this year. Now, do you think that's fair to have the team that's always been the laughingstock of the league for years and years? Do you think that's fair to put them on 4 primetime games?
Well, I mean, it's almost like a redemption story. It's, every America in general, everybody loves the underdog, right? So you have a second-year player who had a great rookie season at quarterback. You have a star-studded either 1 or 2 best receiver in the entire league in Odell Beckham at wide receiver. You've got a decent rookie running back as well last year who had a great year. You're picking up another stud running back in free agency. The defense is still, they've got I think it was a #1 pick a couple of years ago with Myles Garrett. So I think it's a definite underdog story for Cleveland. The city is starving for a good football team. I mean, it's been decades, and I think the NFL is kind of just what's the word I'm looking for? Just really taking advantage of the fact that this team is up and coming, and that people want to see what they can do since they've been down so long.
That's true, and I agree with you on that statement there, Matt, about the underdog story. I do like that as a factor. I just, I kind of wanted to see more of the Browns. Like, I know on paper that they have a star-studded team. It's just to put them into prime time with, I believe they got the Steelers and the Niners and the Jets and one other team. I mean, there's going to be some hard teams to beat, so I just, I don't know if they're ready for prime time just yet. But I like that point of the underdog story there.
Yeah. So is it true that this is the first year in a long time that the defending Super Bowl champion isn't going to open the season? Because I know Steelers Patriots, but I think I heard that the very first game, the Thursday night game, was like the Packers and Bears. Is that true?
Correct. That is true, and I think I don't know exactly why they're doing that, but I feel like I think they're doing it because of the rivalry that the Bears and Packers have.
Yeah.
It's too good to kick off things to start the year, and everyone's ready for football, and the Patriots will host Sunday night against the Steelers, so at least they'll have that. But I think a good rivalry like the Bears-Packers is a good way to start.
Yeah, definitely. That's the oldest rivalry in football. It's the best. I mean, yeah, I've actually got my Denver Broncos are heading to Lambeau in Week 3. Von Miller is saying that if you gotta go to Lambeau, it's best to do it in late September. It's not too cold yet. It's a perfect time, to be honest, but it's still going to be a tough matchup with Rodgers, and he's got a brand new playbook, so it's going to be interesting to see how much he bounces back.
Right, and from what I understand, how they, there's many different factors of how they make these schedules for all 32 teams, but I just found it interesting that the Philadelphia Eagles, part of their schedule is they're going to be on the road for 3 straight weeks.
Wow.
And that's something they said that's out of the ordinary, because they're predicting the Philadelphia Phillies to be in the playoffs, so they didn't want that to interfere with the football. So for some reason, the Eagles got unlucky, but they got 3 straight road games, which can be a little tough on them.
Wow, yeah, that's interesting. Like, for them to just kind of predict like that, almost like, who cares? Like, they're gonna they're going to play regardless. But at the same time, I think they want to make sure that they're not, smashed together because, Philadelphia, they've got everything right in the same parking lot. So.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yes, they're all really close, and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
So what about your Cowboys? How's their schedule looking?
Well, once again, for so many years, we're going to start with the New York Giants at home, hoping to get a division win there. And it's been a while, but usually on Thanksgiving they play the Redskins as a traditional Thanksgiving type of day game. But this year they are at home, but they're hosting the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, that's Shady McCoy coming in there. That'll be fun. We used to see him in high school.
Oh yeah.
He's just a beast.
Oh yeah.
So I think he still has it, and he might be running all over our defense. But that's a game that stands out. And then we actually end with the Redskins, so that a lot of divisions games to start the year and to end the year should be a battle for both sides.
Yeah, definitely. That's I'm super pumped, man. It's going to be such a good year. I can't wait for the draft next week. To see where the quarterbacks fall, to see where the defenders fall. Such a big defensive class. We've talked about it a couple weeks ago, but look out for a nice draft recap next week. Well, it'll be in the middle of it, but in 2 weeks or so, we'll lay down a nice big draft recap and see who got the best players. So.
Yes, that will be fun time there.
Yeah. Did you see the history happening in the NBA playoffs lately?
No, what's going on with that?
Well, so everybody knows that the number one seed in the West are the Golden State Warriors, and they're going up against the 8th seed LA Clippers.
Okay.
So they kind of showed exactly what everybody thought, right? Game 1 in San Fran, the Golden State blew them out. Curry went bonkers. He couldn't miss. I mean, he's so good, it's insane. But Game 2 comes around, still in Golden State, haven't gone back to LA yet, and you kind of saw the same thing. They jumped out to this big lead. They looked dominant. Unfortunately, DeMarcus Cousins went down. Well, it seems like he's done for months, which is really unfortunate.
That's not good.
Yeah, it sucks because he battled really, really hard to get back on the court after tearing his Achilles last season, and he was out for pretty much, I think it was exactly a calendar year, and got back on the court for the second half of the season with the Warriors, and was starting to show the type of player that he can be and what he used to be and how good he is. And then this happens, and I believe it was a torn quad, which sucks.
Right.
They say, I think the timetable is like two months or so, but
yeah, he should be out for the remainder of the season.
And that sucks because he's going to be a free agent again. And if he would have came through, got a nice ring or whatever, maybe he could re-sign for big money either somewhere else or maybe Golden State pays him. Who knows? But
Right.
anyways, so he goes down, and I think it started somewhere in the middle of the third quarter. The Warriors were up 31 points. Guess who won
31.
the game? Guess who won the game?
I would imagine. I mean, I turned it on at halftime, so being up so much, it's got to be the Warriors. I mean, they had to be up 2-0 at home, right?
Wrong. The freaking LA Clippers came back from 31 points. It's insane.
What?
Yeah, it's just bonkers. I think they said they scored like 80. Yeah, I think it was like 80 something points in the second half alone. It's just insane.
That is ridiculous. I can't believe that. The coach should have a good talking to from the GM. I mean, come on. You can't let a team of that caliber just fill up 31 points and then all of a sudden blow it.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Look, it was an incredible feat, and I definitely am amazed at it, but it's not good enough. Like, the Warriors are gonna they play again tonight. This time it has moved to LA, so the Clippers are the home team, but I could see the Warriors winning both game 3 and 4. So this could still pretty much be over. But yeah, that was pretty amazing the other night.
Right, I don't think that if they blew a 31-point lead at home like that, I don't see the coach gonna let that happen again, and they're gonna be back on the high horse. So just look for that one to be over. Anything is possible, but just look for them to cruise on from here on out. And it was a surprising note that the Spurs, the 7th seed, they took 1-1 on the road, and they're coming back home for 2. I think they could even win another one at home, maybe both, against those Nuggets.
Yeah, this is a. I think we talked about it last week. You have the veteran Spurs against the first time playoff appearance Denver Nuggets. It's a very interesting matchup between the two. You've got the older versus the new, but I definitely think that the Spurs, they look good and they're going back home now. I think that they could definitely either win both or at least one game in San Antonio. So the series is tied 1-1 right now. But I still like San Antonio to eventually win the series. The Denver did show what they're capable of, though, in Game 2. Jamal Murray went bonkers. I heard he went 8 for 9 in the fourth quarter, and really almost couldn't miss. I mean, obviously missed the one, but he was just shooting insane shots, fadeaways, and heavily contested shots, and all different types. So,
that seems like he's got a good clutch gene then.
Yeah, definitely. He's a very solid player. I think out of the local guys are saying that he's a little too hot and cold. There's nights where he doesn't show up. So if he can get a little bit more consistent, then he's probably going to be a star. So, but I do think the playoff experience is a huge X factor in this series, and I just like San Antonio. I think that DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge are gonna carry them the rest of the way in this series, at least. And we'll see what happens and who they face in the second round. But as far as this one, I think Denver's going to be in for a rough opener. They need more experience in the playoffs, and we'll see how they do in the future, though.
Definitely, and before I get into the east side of things here in the NBA, I'm just curious with all these teams, whether that's football, basketball. We saw in Columbus, upset the Lightning. You got some major upsets everywhere in sports. Do you really believe in home field advantage? I mean, to me, at first I did. I thought, when I'm picking games, I'm just, I'm going to go with the home team because they're at home and they got the fans behind them. But the more I think about it, I really don't believe that home field makes a difference because, if you have if the away team is a better team overall, I just believe that it comes down to their execution, and if they can do that, then it doesn't matter where they're playing. So, I mean, what do you think of him having the home field advantage? Is it a factor or not?
Well, okay. So in basketball, I think that home advantage is good for your role players, guys who provide energy in the game. I think it's easier for them to provide that energy when they're at home. They've got the backing of the crowd. They've got familiar backdrops. They've got all types of that stuff. I think a star is a star no matter where he's playing. I think if you put James Harden in the middle of the Boston Garden, he's still going to put up like 40 points. Like You know,
Right.
so it's a definite advantage for basketball players, like role players specifically. Um,
Correct.
so it'll be other sports. I don't know, like especially baseball because it's so like any given day they play so often. Um, it's almost all the same backdrop. Um, you know, it's tough to really say, oh, the Yankees are going to win this game in the middle
Right.
in the middle of July just because they're in New York. So from what I
Fair
hear,
point.
from what I hear, um, hockey is a heavily home favorite type of sport. But you've just given examples, of it not being true. So, it could be changing of the times. It could be whatever. So, I don't know.
Right, and there was a lot of times where, certain teams in the NFL, they're better on the road. And, like,
Yeah.
their home games they have a better record on the road than they do at home. So it's just like, you never know what's going to happen. That's why I believe that when you're doing that, it's all about it. The fans. The fans aren't playing, so I think that it's just a matter up to the players. And I think you might feel like the home crowd has the edge just because of their fans, but it's all about the players to me.
Yeah, they're embracing the underdog factor when you've got a team that's better on the road. That's what it is. They're embracing the fact that nobody's there to help them. Nobody's on their side. It's them against the world. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes that can propel you to being better. So
Right. So that's a great comment. Moving on to the East here, we got the Milwaukee Bucks are all way out in front of the Pistons, I believe.
yeah, that doesn't look very close at all. Bucks, that's probably a sweep.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're just too dominant, and it's going to be over shortly for them. And tonight the Philadelphia 76ers are in Brooklyn to battle the Nets in Game 3. Do you see coming out of that one tonight?
You know what? That's like almost my game of the night. I mean, that's gonna be a really good game. I honestly think Brooklyn's gonna win tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's in Brooklyn. It's they stole one in Philly. I think they'll do this. Philly will do the same in Game 4. I think Philly takes Game 4, and eventually takes over the series after that. But I think tonight could be a highlight for the Brooklyn Nets, especially D'Angelo Russell.
Right, yeah, they're, like you said, you got the fans behind them, and, they're just, they really play with, I feel like they're really a team, especially in that Game 1. And, I know Embiid got to the foul line a lot because he was trying to, try to foul out some of the defenders for Brooklyn, like Allen, and, those guys they're hard to handle. They're hard to guard him. So I just think they should, as the Sixers, if they win tonight, I think a lot of that has to start with down low and just hit your open shots.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I know that much. They're gonna, I see Ben Simmons having a good game, but I think, yeah, like I said before, D'Angelo Russell probably going for, at least 30. So, what do you think about the Boston series?
The Boston series, I'm kind of wrong so far at this point. I had picked the Indiana Pacers as an upset, but I think there can still be a chance of that because they're going home, and they didn't really lose to Boston by very much on the road, so that means they can stay with this team. But I just think it's going to take a lot more effort, especially if they would win 2 at home and then have to go back to Boston. To complete this, I think they would. They do a little bit more work here, but right now Boston's looking good.
Yeah, it hurts me to say that, but I agree. The hated Celtics are doing pretty good, and Kyrie looked really good the other night too. But I saw Jason Tatum. They call it playoff Tatum. Apparently he's back. So he had a not as successful season this year. People kind of had him doing a lot better, but he seems to be pretty clutch, and he seems to show up big in the big games. So I see that he's doing well right now. We'll see how he does against better competition, but I do think Boston wraps this up either 5 or 6 games. So
speaking of competition, you know that you've heard of excessive celebration in football when doing dances and stuff when a team scores, and
yeah.
You've got a lot of cool ones that are out there for football. But can you imagine that the Yankees, after they beat the Red Sox, they pulled out a celebration of their own, and they were pulling out fog machines and doing strobe lighting, and they're having a big old dance party. I mean, is that why are we doing? Why doesn't all sports do this? I mean, this is. Hey, I say let the kids have fun.
Oh well, yeah, definitely. That goes towards the whole argument between do you like bat flipping? Do you like showboating? Do you like the big thing in baseball right now is the traditional like unwritten rules side of baseball, and then there's like want to have fun and TV ratings and show the kids this is a fun game, kind of that stuff. So but this is a very interesting story. I know the Yankees, as a Yankee fan, we hate the Boston Red Sox, and I do, but this is, what are we, 15 games into the season? Like, this is it's a little early to be fog machining and disco ball and whatever else there was. So
that's true. And especially I find it more funny, especially if they're doing it against their rivals. It just kind of rubs it in a little bit more to them.
Yeah, and even like the Red Sox, they got to be thinking, dude, we just won 108 games, won the World Series, and we whooped your butt, and you're celebrating after 2 wins in April. Like, what are you doing? So
right, well, they're the defending champs, and you want to dance after a couple games in the regular season. That's fine. We'll see how it goes at the end of the year, but for now, I just say let them have fun. Let everybody have fun. Even if we saw it in basketball or hockey, there's so many rules and everything that they're trying to make it safe. They're trying to make it safer, and all these rule changes and everything. Just if they're making the money, just let them play. Let them have fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's, especially if you like publicize it. If you're putting it on YouTube and you're showing everybody how great it can be to play the game and have fun with your friends, and it's good for the kids. I think it's the next generation is seeing that you can still play this slower paced baseball game, and it's a struggle for me to watch at times, but I still understand why people love it, and I still want to watch it when I can, and it shows the next generation that it's still there, it's still fun, and it's still entertaining, to say the least.
Right, and I don't know if you've seen this already. I just read about this morning, but the Atlanta Falcons has taken the Game of Thrones theme and made a video of all their opponents this season. And one of the weeks they're playing the Rams, and they did some kind of a 3D animation of a ram running into the Saints as part of a prank against the Saints for the whole non-pass interference call. I mean,
and the ref waving his arms. Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, what more can we get into now?
I know.
That's unbelievable that they did that. And fans, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's a very good video too. I'm surprised how they put that together, but yeah, it's they won the contest for the best schedule released video.
Oh boy, yeah. I would imagine they're having fun with that.
Yeah, definitely. So let's keep it to baseball. I touched earlier about the whole bat flipping incident. Did you see the most recent bat flip?
I did not. What happened with that?
So you have a guy who is up to bat, right? It's happened plenty of times before, and he gets the perfect pitch, and he really gets a hold of one, and he smacks it, and it's a deep home run, right? And sometimes you just know it as soon as it's hit, right? As soon as the guy follows through, it's gone, it's out of here. The whole crowd erupts. It's a great moment. It's one of the best moments in baseball, to be honest. But he gets super excited, and he just chucks the bat, right? And with he like overhand throws it, and it's like a heck yeah kind of moment, you know what I mean? And the pitcher didn't like it. Okay, so the pitcher's staring at him as he rounds second base, and the catcher is staring at him as he crosses home plate and heads towards the dugout. So next batter up, right? Next guy up. Pitcher hits him pretty much right in the ass. It's lower level. It wasn't like in the face or anything like that, but he hit him right in the back, and that got the benches cleared. It was pretty funny, but it sparked the argument too. It sparked the conversation of, you know, the traditional. You want to act all cocky and throw your bat, I'm gonna hit your teammate. Like, you know what I mean? It's
right.
The traditional. This is how we do things, how we deal with things, versus the other side of the argument where, like, you know, you're gonna potentially seriously injure somebody who wasn't even involved in the initial play to begin with. You know what I mean? He went after the guy after him. So it was like, it was interesting.
I mean, what was that, Matt?
It was interesting to see the different sides of that argument. So.
Right. I mean, if you have to relate to, like, throwing your bat excessively as part of a celebration, you know, it's kind of a dangerous thing, and, you know, you could have hit, you know, somebody else, or it just, you know, it's good to be happy about that type of thing, but then it sparks all this drama with, you know, someone didn't like it, so they get after each other. So it just, I don't mind him celebrating. Just I think he should find a better way to do that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's funny. I want to kind of, now that you say that, I want to, like, go on YouTube and see if I can find the first time Sammy Sosa did his leap when he hit a home run, and see what the pitcher's reaction to that was. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, that guy. I tell you, you know, we watched him back when we were younger, and, you know, it's been a while since he's been out of the league, but, you know, he was the heart and soul of that Cubs team.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that 98 season with him and McGuire going for the record, like, I was glued to the TV. That was beautiful.
Right. I think we got, you know, back then it was Griffey, McGuire, Sosa. Right now we got Harper, Judge, Stanton. You know, we got, you know, I love how it just every decade of talent, you know, we just see more and more players like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so I want to touch real quick. Let's do a little bit of a local segment here for the baseball fans. With the Philadelphia Phillies currently sitting at 11-6, just defeated the Mets yesterday 3-2. Arrieta pitches into the ninth inning. That's almost unheard of, like nowadays. But
Right.
but I think it was 2 days ago you saw the Phillies put up 10 runs in the first inning. It's crazy.
10 runs in the first inning?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, it's crazy. So
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, I just believe that, a team like the Mets, and, it's a rivalry. It was a great feeling for Phillies fans to get those 10 runs. And honestly, if you look at it, like, if they kept doing that every inning, they could add 90 runs by the end of the game. Who knows? But that's just, something went wrong in the pitching staff, and it just the Phillies really opened it up there. So I can't believe that went on, but it's definitely not something to see, especially in the majors.
Yeah, no. Speaking of the 3-2 win, Scott Kingery and Cesar Hernandez hit solo homers, which seemed to be the spark for the win in that one. Kingery seems to be having a decent season. I've heard his name recently over the past couple of days in the home run column, but I think everybody's still talking about the biggest acquisition in baseball over the offseason. Well, okay, the biggest free agent signing in baseball over the offseason, which is Bryce Harper. I mean, you can't ignore the impact that he's had already. I mean, 11-6 to start the season. They're number one in the division right now. It's nice to see the Phillies. I've always got a special love for the Phillies,
Right.
and I just like seeing them succeed. But it's nice to see them really, pretty much back on the map.
Right, and I believe that they're going to be there for a while. And it just, I thought of this when I saw that they signed Bryce Harper. But do you think that this whole thing of him switching to the other NL East team as of the Phillies, he was with the Nationals.
Right.
Do you see that being an advantage at all for in wins in the division? Because I mean, if I have a guy, especially of that caliber, and he knows all his former team, I think you would probably see more wins with his new team against his old team because he knows them so well.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how much that plays into it. That's almost like a chess match. Like, I think that if he's giving tips to other batters because he knows how his former pitcher teammate likes to pitch, that's one thing.
Right.
But I just don't. I think it's, as a professional athlete, I think it's your job to kind of keep it fresh. In other words, keep innovating. Don't stick to the same thing for your entire career. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a pitcher, come up with another pitch every once in a while. Keep it fresh and interesting. I think that's going to be. I think that's kind of your job. So improvisation. So I think that to answer your question, I'm not sure how much him going to the Phillies versus him staying with the Nationals is that much of an advantage. But
Okay.
I could be wrong. They're off to a good start, so you never know.
Right, and I also found out that not sure exactly when the last time Philadelphia has done this, but I saw that they're in 2026. They're going to be hosting the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby. I think that's the Harris Ballpark, and that'll be a fun thing to go to, even watch.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's gonna be great to watch for our area. That could be potential tailgating prime time spot right there.
Oh boy, I can't wait for this, and it is a couple years away, and like I said, I don't know how far if Philly at Veterans Stadium ever hosted, I don't know, an all-star game, but it's good to see, like, the Eagles winning the Super Bowl and the Sixers coming up and the Phillies are coming up now and the Flyers still got a way to go, but, Philadelphia is a great place and it'd be great to see them producing big events like that.
Yeah, I'll be witnessing firsthand on Star Wars Day, May the 4th.
Oh boy!
Yeah, Bryce against the Nationals in Philadelphia. So 10 rows up behind the first base. So I'll be excited about that one. Get a couple pictures with Bryce or something.
Oh yeah, you gotta send me this picture when you get. Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so people, I'd like to thank you once again. Episode 3 is in the books. We're gonna keep it rolling. As Big Al said earlier, we're doing this for everybody out there who's interested. If not, then fine. But if you are, this is a great little podcast to pass the time. We're having a lot of fun. We got our first sponsor. You heard earlier in the podcast. Shout out to KL&P. So I appreciate all the love you got, all the subscriptions, all the likes. Keep them coming. We love it. So as for Matt, I'll see you guys later. Big Al?
Yes, thank you guys, and we will be keeping you updated on the latest, scores around the playoffs with basketball and hockey, and getting a little bit more into even the draft picks after the first day of the draft, which is next Thursday at 7 o'clock. So, I hope you enjoy it, and looking forward to watching us again, and we'll keep you updated, and thank you again.
Yeah, look out for episode. Let's call it for episode 5. 2 weeks from now, we're gonna take a nice deep dive into who the draft picks went to, and really how that turned out. So look out for that episode. We'll probably say something for episode 4 next week about a quick touch on what happened, and you'll probably know about it too as well. But episode 5, we'll do a nice little draft episode. How about that?
Sounds good, Matt. And folks, if you love us now on YouTube, at some point down the road, we're looking to do a live shot of us. Not so you won't just hear us. You'll be able to see us talking and arguing back and forth. It's going to be great. So we'll keep you updated on that. But it's going to be a fun time to get actual visual of us just having fun talking sports.
Yeah, definitely. That's down the road. But yes, sir, I can't wait for that. All right, people. We'll see you next time. Episode 4 next week.